Good morning. I'm Austin. It's nice to meet you. I have an idea from my idea list today for you. But first, Psalm. Also, I'm realizing that if I don't do this at like 6 a.m., then there's just so many other things going on. Cars driving by and the sun coming up shining in my face. But that is not a bad thing. Psalm 2. Why do the nations conspire and the people plot in vain? The king of the earth takes their stand, and the rulers gather together against the Lord and against his anointed one. Let us break their chains, they say, and throw off their fetters. The one enthroned in heaven laughs, the Lord scoffs at them. Then he rebukes them in his anger and terrifies them in his wrath, saying, I have installed my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will proclaim the decree of the Lord. He said to me, You are my son. Today I have become your father. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your inheritance, the ends of the earth your possession. You will rule them with an iron scepter and will dash them into pieces like pottery. Therefore, you kings, be wise. Be warned, you rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you be destroyed in your way. For his wrath can flare up in a moment. Blessed are all who take refuge in him. Wonder who that's about. This is idea number 2 out of 634. One of my goals is 634 is one of my more recent ideas that I want to do. So I've got to get to doing it before I get to giving it away. Otherwise, you can take it. But if you came across this video, then maybe this idea is for you. And if you've been putting off this, then you should do it. And I don't remember really much about it, but the idea is for a book about food. And I think really what I had was mainly a title that I really liked, which is One Bite Changes Everything. So I couldn't honestly tell you what my specific ideas were about a food book titled that, but I'm sure it had something to do with just how, one bite changes everything. But that's a pretty good book title. That's a pretty big one. So maybe you are somebody who does something with food. I know for me, like the health aspect, this isn't necessarily what brought on the idea of a food book. But like my dad had ulcerative colitis. I've had something similar in the past, and I got really sick. And I know that like diet I never went on medication for it. It wasn't quite like Crohn's or ulcerative colitis, but I started dieting a certain way just to not have to be on medication. And that does change a whole lot. So, and like our food today, it's crazy. Not to go on a big soapbox about the way our food is, but we've been inching closer and closer towards, we have chickens, so we have our own eggs. My wife makes homemade bread, and even homemade bread from like store-bought cheap flour seems to be like 10 times better than store-bought bread. And so it just makes you think, well, what if our flour and what if our ingredients were actually really high quality and really good and natural? And we have a garden. One of the things that I didn't eat for a long time with my gut issues was any kind of nightshades or legumes. So beans and tomatoes and bell peppers and like cucumbers, things that seem to be, healthy, really healthy food. But when you have any kind of like gut issues, there's a compound in the like seeds and in the skins of those that's called lectin. And so I did a low lectin diet. So cutting out all those things. Last year though, I got super sick. I was as sick as I've ever been, and literally not saying literally like a lot of people do where they don't actually mean literally, but no, I was literally on the floor of the bathroom for a week, hadn't eaten anything, and it was really cool because towards the end of it, I was just really convicted. I was like, I just need to, like, Sunday rolled around and I was back up on my feet, and I was like, I need to just find a couple people to pray with me and pray for healing. And I didn't have all the feels about it. It didn't feel like emotional and like, oh my gosh, something's about to happen. It was just like, nope, this is what I need to do. I felt like I needed to be obedient and do that. And I've wrestled with believing in miracles for years now. And I was having a colonoscopy that week. You probably didn't realize jumping into this video that this idea video is going to get on the topic of colonoscopies. But anyways, long story short, I had found a couple people. I was going to just walk out of church without finding anybody. I was like, oh, I couldn't find anybody I know to pray with. So I was leaving, and there's like 3 people that I knew that were like blocking the exit. So they prayed over me. Nothing crazy or fancy, like, booming voices or anything like that. But I went in for a colonoscopy a couple days later, and they're like, hey, there's no sign of any kind of inflammation or anything. Like, it's perfectly healthy. And since then, I've been able to pretty much eat anything. So God healed me, and I felt like in that He was like, not an audible voice, but God was saying, He's like, hey, I healed you, and like when beforehand He's like, I'm going to heal you, and when He's like, I healed you, but also like you can't eat like trash. Like, yes, you're gonna feel like trash if you eat like trash. Like, so you got to be healthy. It's very much not like I had to do something to be healed, but rather He's like, okay, I'm gonna heal you, and now I want you to also live healthy. Like, I want you to try to live a healthy life, and so we've kind of come to this place where, there's a reality of the stuff we consume. Like, you can't fully get away from it where we're at, and it's daunting. It can be really expensive and out of reach to try to just go completely healthy, all natural, which is what we want to do, but it's one step at a time. So it's planting a garden, it's not eating fast food, not eating sugar. Like, most of the time we don't actually need to eat those things. Even making something really basic at home and eating rice and beans, it beats, even health wise, like I feel like it beats like, a fast food burger or whatever the case may be. So yeah, we've been doing that. So maybe it's a health book, coming back to the idea concept. Maybe it's you are a chef and you like just want people to know. Like, I would love to, if I were to have all the knowledge and be able to write a book, is like it would be float somewhere around like writing something about how, like, making do with what you have, but I think also showing people that, it doesn't take a lot to make something really good and delicious and also healthy. We made, from our garden the other day, we made bruschetta, and it's like tomatoes and olive oil and garlic and salt and pepper, and I think that was pretty much it. I might be missing something, but like I just had ChatGPT give me a recipe and toasted some bread, and man, it was insanely good. And it's also like stuff we grew in our garden. And anyways, so that's the idea. I hope that if you're somebody who's been thinking about writing a book, like, one of the whole idea with this giving ideas away is like, if you don't have an idea for something but you've been wanting to do something, there's no excuse now. Just take one of these ideas and run. But maybe you have your own idea, just do it. Go make something. I know that might seem like a double standard because I'm just talking about ideas and not, but I am doing some. I don't know, now I'm rambling. And there's all sorts of ambient noise that I'm sure you'll enjoy. But I hope you have a good day.